G'day everyone and welcome back to NS2HD. In this video I'm going to show you something that very few people in the world have seen before. This is Summit, a brand new Natural Selection 2 map that has been completely created from the ground up by Psychoman, a member of the Natural Selection 2 community. He's done it in his spare time, he's spent countless hours on it, and he's given me the honour here today of being able to reveal his map to everyone out there, the public, you guys who want to see it, and it is an amazing map. There is so much I want to show you with this map that I'm going to have to split this across multiple videos. To keep the time down in this video and to make sure I don't ramble on for too long, I'm just going to show you some of the most incredible parts of this map, some of the parts that give it character, some of the parts that make it different, and I'm not going to try and show you the entire map in one go. I'm not going to try and give you a detailed rundown on the layout of the map or where all the vents are or anything like that. I'm just going to go through some of the major rooms and show you some of the astounding architecture and some of the soul that exists in these rooms. And I've started here in Marine Start, this being some kind of command and control center in Summit, in the facility that is Summit, and containing the Marine Command Station, resource node, and a power node at the back of the room, and a whole bunch of control panels and some crazy architecture. These girders and beams are going to create great hidey holes for skulks. There's a lot of variation in the roof geometry for a lot of interesting alien play, and there's a lot of interesting variation in the ground geometry as well for Marines to be able to create interesting and varied bases in this room. Moving away from Marine Start, I'm going to take you to a room called Flight Control. On the way there, pay close attention to the architecture and geometry and lighting in these corridors. In a lot of games, you'll find corridors that simply lead from A to B. These corridors are rooms in themselves. They're places that have soul and character that you can clearly see could accommodate varied and interesting gameplay. For example, in this adjoining corridor, we have this gap with some interesting light play on these crates and against the adjoining wall. But there's gaps here. There's enough space for a skulk to hide behind, or a marine to hide behind. There's enough interesting geometry in this area for real combat to happen, and for this not just to be a simple corridor linking 2 points. But the 2 points it does link are Marine Start and Flight Control. If I was going to call a room Flight Control, this would be one of the most unique flight controls I'd ever seen. Down here is the area that I think is the actual command and control area for the actual flight controlling. It's represented by a resource node, and there's a couple of screens and control banks lining the walls. There's some interesting geometry play from the ceiling down to the floor in 2 places here, and then there's a staircase leading further downwards. That room was flight control, and this room is called Heliport. A lot of the time in games, you'll see rooms such as this with a title such as Heliport, but their form won't really reflect the function you'd expect based on their name. This map is completely different. Psychoman has created something with real character here. There are 3 bays, clearly for the helicopters or the other flying machines or whatever it is that the heliport is meant to take. Each of them has a grating or some kind of landing zone here with a large door. There's the second one over there, and here's the third, right in the center of the room, and note that it has a tech point on it. I think this is a wonderful use of the function of a room combined with the actual gameplay of Natural Selection 2. I could have put, if I was the mapper, a tech point straight up there on that ledge or up above these stairs over here somewhere behind the power point and slapped it right in the middle of the room and said, there's the tech point in Heliport. Instead, Psychoman has incorporated the tech point into the design of the actual Heliport bays. It's really interesting because when you get something like a tech point in a game, like in Natural Selection 2, it represents something. It represents strategic value. What Psychoman has done is linked that strategic value in the gameplay asset to the strategic value in the game world. In this facility, in the Summit facility, the heliport is clearly going to be a valuable location, and by putting the tech point as one of the heliport landing strips, Psychoman has integrated that into integrated the value of the game world with the real world that the game world represents. It's really cool. Moving down from Heliport, through another corridor that's intricate enough to be a room on its own, there's a reason I've chosen to be a lurk, and that is Crevice. This is a room, if you could call it that I've never seen in Natural Selection before. It's an open space, it's going to be an incredible playground for lurks, and perhaps flying marines. The geometry is intricate and includes places for lurks or other flying creatures and humans to stop and look down on what is essentially a resource point. There's 3D geometry in the distance, the room, it's the area, the open space is incredibly detailed. There's a lot going on in here. It's definitely an eye-opening part of the map. When I started exploring this map, I had no idea I was going to see something as cool as this. I can't wait to see what kind of gameplay we're going to get out of an open space like this, as it's something that we haven't seen in Natural Selection 2 before. I'm now moving away from Crevice into another very, very important area of the map. This is Alien Start. And what an alien start it is. This is the most unique tech point I've ever seen in Natural Selection 2. I keep saying things like that, but that's the kind of map Summit is. It's a map full of firsts, it's a map that is full of wow, it's a map full of eye-opening moments. Check out the geometry in these windows. It's completely curved all the way around, forming a 180-degree panorama out onto the world below. And it's in this room that you get the sense of the summit that you're on some kind of mountain summit, that there's some kind of facility built into this summit, and you're fighting for control of it right now. This being the alien hive, it's going to see a lot of combat, and it's a really cool way to hold an alien hive. The geometry in the room, it creates 2 levels for combat. And to get to the second level, you need to fight through an area where skulks, lurks, fades, and gorges are going to be able to drop down from you, on top of you from on high. To get up the hive, you have to fight all the way up these stairs where it's located in prime position to look down on the mountain below. Psychoman's let me know that this is just a placeholder skybox. Apparently it's from Tram, so it'll be really exciting to see what he decides to put there to finish off the map with its own skybox. In this map, we've seen a heliport, we've seen flight control, we've seen a control room at the top of the map, and a large panorama vista room down the bottom being Alien Start, and we've seen the outside world in Crevice. What we really need is a power generator to power this whole map, and what you see here is the power generator. This room is called Generator. It's made strategic by the inclusion of a resource node. It's a giant, what looks like some kind of nuclear reactor sitting in the middle of the room, and it's going to be interesting for combat because it is circular, but there are multiple entrances in and out of the place. In fact, there are multiple entrances, and I've just gotten confused about which one I need to take to get out of here. I'm just going to go through this one and see where it takes me. Check out the complexity in this. I've pointed this out multiple times. I'm going to point it out again. The complexity of the hallways in this map is worthy of being a map in itself. You could make a map out of simply the corridors between main combat areas. That was one of the things that Unknown Worlds wanted to achieve with Natural Selection 2. They wanted to achieve Natural Selection combat that didn't feel like you were moving between defined rooms, and Psychoman has just taken that philosophy and run with it. The room I'm in now is called Surface Access, and this would be the place where you'd want to go if you wanted to get to this facility via the ground instead of via a flying machine like you would in Heliport. And just like in Heliport, Psychoman has taken the concept of strategic game assets like the tech point down there and incorporated it into the game world. These are some sort of lift or elevator thing that brings cargo and people up from the surface of this world up to the top of this summit, and one of them includes a tech point. So again, a seamless integration of game assets makes the world feel believable, makes you feel like you're fighting for a real strategic asset in this game world. The geometry of this room is very, very exciting. Again, there are sneaky places for alien players to move around in. These places, I mean, we're definitely going to see skulk drops from down here, lurks gassing marines when they least expect it from these alcoves up here. And it is also worth pointing out that you don't see a lot of curved architecture yet in Natural Selection 2, and Psychoman has just run with the curved theme and run riot with it. There is so much curvature going on here. It's very, very exciting. We've now almost made a full circumnavigation of the map. If you were following the map around by its edges, this would be the final room you would reach, this being ventilation. Down the bottom we can see a fan. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bigger one for the final release of this map. And above it, a resource node holding out all over the top. So again, a functional room, this being the ventilation place for this facility, that has been made game strategic by the placement of a game strategic asset, in this case, a resource node. It's a cool room. It incorporates the themes of curvature that Psychoman's been putting all through the map and makes it unique again. There's so many rooms in here that are curved, but they're all unique, and this is just another example of that. Also, the lighting in here is yellow, where a lot of the lighting we've been seeing is colder white or blue. So it's really nice to see lighting mix-ups in this map, and the room is just so intricate. There's so much function going on that I don't even know where to begin to describe it. I'm not even going to try and describe it anymore. Instead, I'm going to continue flying through these intricate corridors, which will ultimately take us back to where we started, Marine Star. But this isn't the end of this map. No, we've gone all the way around the edge, but we've missed out what's in the middle. In this case, I'm going to come at the final area through flight control, up a large cargo passageway, and into what is called Crossroads. It's almost cathedral-like in the way it's been set up. A large open vent space above lets in natural light from outside, which clouds the floor on the bottom and plays on whatever character you might be on, such as the Fade that I am now. It includes a resource point and a tech point, and is a very, very detailed and complex room. There's a lot of architecture in here that aliens especially are going to have a lot of fun exploring, and Marines are going to come to hate as they try to secure this room against the aliens. To tell you the truth, this is one of the first times I've tried running around in here, and I don't fully know my way around, so it's an exploration for me as much as you. But that's the point of this video. I don't want you to become comfortable with this map from watching it. I want you to be disorientated so that when Psychoman releases this map, it's exciting for everyone to try and learn it, to explore it, because this map is truly worthy of exploration. It is so detailed, there is so much strong character in it, it has so much soul, that I really commend it to everyone. You should definitely have a go at exploring this map as soon as it comes out. I can't wait to see how it plays. One final note is very important for Natural Selection 2 gameplay, and that is the frame rate. The frame rate on this map has been pushing 60, 65 plus for me, and I've been using my very, very weak graphics card instead of my very strong one. So that's just my final note about how excited I am about this map. The performance is exceptional. That is going to be it from me for now on this map, everyone, and I'm not going to show you any more of it because I just don't want to give any more away. I hope this has been a good video for you and you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you all soon for more NS2HD videos.